Hello, my name is Karin Ciance, and I'm here to talk about protect yourself from peril. I appreciate you letting me have this opportunity today. Let's see how to advance it. So I wrote the journal article. My article was on Protect Yourself from Peril that was published in the Nursing for Women's Health Journal and the Association of Women's Health Obstetrical Neonatal Nursing Journal. I would like to acknowledge my daughter, who was the inspiration for me to share this story in the hope that other mothers can benefit from reading from my experience. The learning objectives today are to demonstrate how to put on personal protective equipment, PPE, and demonstrate how to doff and remove personal protective equipment. So this is my story first before we get into that on the personal protective equipment. This article that I published took me over 20 years to write. When the editor of the journal read my story, she contacted me and told me that you must get this story out to our readers. I made such an impact on her that she knew that this had to be read by other people. The breastfeeding relationship between a mother and an infant is powerful, beautiful, and time limited. As a nurse practicing in the field other than maternal newborn nursing, I was familiar with the breastfeeding grief experienced by mothers who, for any number of reasons, are unable to establish an optimal supply of milk and feeding pattern with their infant. I knew that my breastfeeding relationship with my infant would come to a natural end sometime after the first year of life because I had expected to nurse her for that period. There was nothing in my breastfeeding experience with this infant that would indicate otherwise. All my plans and expectations for breastfeeding changed in an instant when a splash of HIV positive blood went into my left eye, changing my nursing career and breastfeeding plans forever. Never did I think that when putting my 9-month-old infant down for her crib for a nap, and then I was going to report to work, that this would be the last time that I would breastfeed my daughter. I was never able to nurse again, despite putting forth every possible effort to do so, and I grieve this loss to this day. As an experienced nurse of 14 years at the time, I reported to work for my shift in the urgent care department. I received a report indicating that a woman who tested positive for HIV, hepatitis B and C, needed antibiotics and IV fluids. 2 other nurses had attempted to do this and they were unsuccessful. I had full confidence of my skill level and able to do so. And during the procedure of inserting the IV, the patient began to shake, causing her right arm to jerk in an upward motion. The angiocatheter tip that had been inserted into her vein came out, causing blood to splash on my face and go into my left eye. This event was immediately reported to the physician and the employee health nurse. I was informed I needed to be placed on prophylactic HIV medication for 3 months, as that was the protocol at the time. This was devastating and difficult news to digest. The physician stated that if perhaps the CD4 count came down, that I would be able to discontinue the medication. Nevertheless, 1 hour after the incident occurred, I had to start on the medication, and I knew that now breastfeeding was out of the question. I had some frozen breast milk, but now I needed to purchase formula. Reading the artificial ingredients on the package was extremely heartbreaking, and I began pumping twice a day to keep up my supply. Having a pump and dump every single day was very difficult. Throughout this time, the CD4 lab test to the patient still was monitored in hopes that it would lower to discontinue the medication. 3 months passed and I could finally discontinue the medication. But when I attempted to breastfeed my daughter again at 12 months, she would not latch on. This was very disappointing, as the hope of breastfeeding again kept me motivated to continue pumping. Because this was my only child, I was determined to still provide 12 months of breast milk before changing over to cow's milk. Instead of introducing cow's milk at 12 months, I continued pumping and provided not only 3 to 6 additional months of breast milk. So for 6 months, I was able to pump and give her breast milk in every bottle and mix it with her daily cereal. Even though she needed to receive the formula for 3 months, I could finally have sense of peace with this devastating event, knowing she received an additional 6 months of breast milk. I was working 40 hours a week, and for 18 months, I pumped the breast milk. I have taken this life-changing experience and used it as a significant teaching point with new graduate nurses and nursing students. I share this story to reinforce the importance of being prepared to apply blood-borne precautions and in every direct patient care experience. So wherever there is a potential to be splashed with bodily fluid, you should protect yourself, and as I protect myself to this day. I've learned several lessons from this experience. Always protect yourself and think about safety first. Protecting yourself protects your family as well, and advocate for yourself even if a provider disagrees with your decision to wear personal protective equipment. And always exercise proper isolation precautions as defined by the CDC at all times. So an exposure to a bodily fluid can happen very quickly, and in just one blink of an eye in this case. So providing protection from peril is paramount. So now I'd like to present to you the sequence for donning the PPE. You would first do the hand hygiene with alcohol-based hand gel. Then you would apply a gown. Then you would apply a surgical mask or an N95, which I'm sure we're all very familiar with the pandemic of COVID. Then you can also put on a head cover as well. And then you would finally put on a face shield or goggles, and then you would don gloves. So hand hygiene, again, if you don't have soap and water, that's usually the best, but obviously sometimes you might not have a sink in the room, so you can use the alcohol-based hand rub. You would apply this in a cupped hand, rub your palms against your palms, interlacing your fingers, rubbing your palms to the back of your hands, rubbing all surfaces of each finger with the opposite side, and then continue till the product is dry. With the gown, you want to select the appropriate size and type. Opening goes in the back, securing it at the neck and waist. If it is too small, you can always use two gowns, one in the front and one in the back. Surgical mask you would place over your nose, mouth, and chin. The flexible nose pieces goes over the nose bridge, securing on the head with ties or elastic, and then adjusting to fit. A particular respirator N95, you want to pay attention to the size small, medium, or large. Place this over your nose, mouth, and chin, fitting the flexible nose piece over your nose bridge. Inhaling the respirator should collapse, adjusting it to fit, and with exhaling, you should check for any leakages around your face, always securing it on your head with the elastic. Just a little fact about disposable particulate respirators. They're classified as N95, N99, N100, R95, R99, R100, P95, P99, and P100. So the letters indicate N is oil resistant, R is non-resistant, P is strongly. N is non-resistant, not resistant, R is somewhat resistant, and P is strongly resistant. So for instance, an N95 filters 95% of the particles that are airborne. So you would then place your head covering over your head covering and putting in and tucking in all your hair on your head. Then you would position your goggles over your eyes, secure to the head using the earpieces or headband. Position the face shield over your face and secure it on your brow with the headband, adjusting so it is comfortable. Gloves, you want to put those on last, selecting the correct size and type, inserting your hands into the gloves, extending the gloves over the gown elastic or the bottom of the cuff. When we take off the PPE, you always want to take your gloves off first. If the glove tears, you want to use hand hygiene. You would then take your gown off, then your goggles or face shield, your mask, head covering or cap, and then do hand hygiene. So removing the gloves, you would grasp the outside edge near the wrist, Peel away from the hand, turning the glove inside out and holding on to the opposite glove. Removing step 2, you would slide the ungloved finger under the wrist of the remaining glove, peel from the inside, creating a bag for both of these gloves, and then discard. Removing the gown, you would unfasten the ties, peel the gown away from the neck and shoulder, turn the contaminated outside toward the inside, and you would roll it into a bundle and then discard, always pulling it away from you. Removing your goggles and face shield, you would grasp the ear or headpieces with the ungloved hands lifted away from your face. You want to act as if everything is contaminated at this point. Place it in the receptacle for disinfecting or disposal. Removing the mask, lift the bottom elastic over your head first, untie the bottom, then lift off the top elastic, or then untie the top tie. With both hands, remove the elastic, discard, always remembering not to touch your face. Remove the head cover or cap and discard in the basket. Then you would do hand hygiene again. Between PPE item removal, if your hands become visibly contaminated, always do hand hygiene, always immediately after removing your PPE, using soap and water if you do have a sink available with soap, or an alcohol-based hand rub. So you want to always make sure that you wash your hands. Hand washing prevents diseases, and you always want to protect yourself. And these are my references. Thank you. The end.